Jalen Anthony Rose.
What up, doe?
And I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
Together with Jalen Jacoby, what is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
We're going to talk about why Jalen Rose was trending yesterday. We're going to talk about the big Terrence Crawford fight with Teddy Atlas. And we have a lot of NBA action to get to. But we start with Major League Baseball. Why? Because we need to hear from GM Jalen. GM Jalen joins us because the New York Yankees signed Garrett Cole. They didn't just sign Garrett Cole. They signed him to a 9-year, $324 million deal. Not only did he get a 9-year, $324 million deal, after 5 years, player option, not a team option. Not only that, also a no-trade clause. GM Jalen, if you were the general manager of the Yankees, would you sign who's arguably the best pitcher in the game to a deal like this?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
9 years?
Here's why. It's monopoly money in Major League Baseball. There's no salary cap. And you know, since the boss died, the OG, one of the greatest owners of all time, George Steinbrenner, his son has been accused of something.
What's that?
Not spending the money.
Oh, he's spending the money now. Can't accuse me of that anymore.
Not spending the money like dad. He heard those whispers. And you know what else? They ain't won a World Series in a long time. And a lot of that had
relatively a long time.
And a lot of that had to do with their lack of pitching. They break all type of home run records.
Oh, yeah. Their roster.
They break all type of home run records.
Great.
But when they got to the postseason, they would face teams, and it seemed like if they had two aces, they could beat the Yankees. So now what they did, they just stacked the deck. They got the best home run hitters, top to bottom. They have the best pitching staff, top to bottom. The New York Yankees are actually going to be in the conversation again as the best team in baseball.
I mean, you make a good point because this is not a salary cap league, but there's something about 9 years, no trade clause, and a player option after 5 that just seems so player friendly.
Put them with Severino.
Here's my question.
Put them with Tanaka.
But are they bidding against themselves? Was there someone else who was willing to do a similar deal?
No, it's not that you're bidding against yourself. It's we want to get this done. And initially the deal's for 8 years. And then Steinbrenner got on the phone. It's going to take 9. Let's get it done. Sure. I will not lose. The NY hat is storied throughout this country. You see people rocking it from coast to coast. Entertainers, athletes, players on the team. They want to win a World Series, David.
Oh, they're about to. Well, 9 years, $324 million is hard to wrap your head around. So we've kind of broken it down piece by piece, right? It's about $36 million a year. He starts about 36 times a year. So every time he steps in the mound, it's about $1.1 million. Every inning, this is all projected, based on averages, $170,000. Every batter, $44,000.
It's really impressive. And he deserves it. So every time I see a baseball player that could probably walk down the street and never be recognized, get $100 million, $200 million, $300 million, it always reminds me of why. Do the NBA and the NFL have salary caps?
Well, this man could probably get left outside of a New York City nightclub. Like right now, he could probably get left outside. He's on the other side of the velvet rope talking about, I know this person, I know that person, and not getting in the New York City nightclub. And he just signed a $324 million deal with the Yankees. A year from now, that will not be the case. I just hope, I just hope this works out for both sides. You know what I mean? Because I hate to see someone get paid this much and then get injured or not work out or end up being the third or fourth starter. Like, I hope he continues to pitch the way he has.
Ready for this? Next season, Garrett Cole, Giancarlo Stanton will make more money than the entire Baltimore Orioles roster.
Crazy. Garrett Cole, man. Good for him. Well, Jalen, I have GM Jalen here, and you also happen to be, like a lot of GMs, you're also a former professional athlete. So what's it like in the locker room? Like, what's it like when you're there and, you're all teammates on the same team, but you've got a guy sitting in a corner who just happens to make, 10X, 20X, 30X with someone else on the same team that contributes similarly to the same team. Does that create jealousy? What's the vibe?
So here's the vibe. When he walks into the clubhouse, all jokes about his money.
Oh, I'm sure.
All jokes about his money. You buying, can I get a loan?
Yeah.
All of those jokes. Anything that you can think of. I know your family and friends are hitting you up. And by the way, they spend your money before you do.
Oh,
before
I'm sure.
you even get it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay. So after that blows over, people are thanking you. Because all athletes like when somebody pushes the market. That's better for business. So they're rooting for you. And then when they do interviews, they're also talking about your money. When you go out and perform, you're going to have Aaron Judge like, that's why we gave him $324 million.
You understand why.
That's why he got the big bucks.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense. Jalen, it's time for you and I to go deeper than the box score. So I had my eye on this Hawks Heat game, and the Hawks might have stayed in South Beach 2 nights ago because they played well against the Heat. They were leading throughout.
2 nights.
2 nights ago. Yeah, they must have stayed in because they played well, and they were up in the fourth quarter. And then, Trae Young, you'll see right here, he made a nice play. You'll see it. He's got the ball. Little ISO. Trae Young, he had himself a nice game. They're feeling good about themselves. Makes this great pass to Len. Len dunks it. Watch Trae Young here. He gives the "it's over" sign. He gave the Vince Carter "it's over" sign.
It wasn't over.
It wasn't over because Jimmy Butler hit that 3 to tie the game, and then in overtime, it wasn't even close.
It was not close.
Not even close. They won by 14 in an overtime game. Like, you don't see numbers like that. The Heat just completely destroyed the Hawks in overtime. Jimmy Butler triple-double. Bam Adebayo triple-double. 2 triple-doubles from the same team. Jalen, what did this win show you about both teams, the Hawks and the Heat?
I know for people that's been following this program for 9 years, you understand what I'm about to say about the Miami Heat. What 2 words am I about to use, Jacoby?
Player development.
Correct. Just think about this. Bam not only had 30 as a big guy. Didn't you say he had a triple-double?
Triple-double, 11-11.
Just think about that for a second.
If you've been watching, you talk about player development. If you've been watching Bam Adebayo, he's not a natural passer. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't known for passing. He wasn't a distributor. He's not a playmaker for others. But if you play with the same team with the Heat, I think he's been on the Heat for 2-3 years now. They'll develop you into one.
I got another guy I want to mention. Duncan Robinson. Out of Michigan. How many threes did he hit?
If you were going to tell me that there's a white guy on the Heat's going to hit 10 threes this year, I'd be like, Tyler Hero. Nope, Duncan Robinson. Where did he go to college?
University of Michigan.
Oh, that's right. Okay. And also Kendrick Nunn. The 2 of them had 36 and 34.
Say that again.
The 2 of them, Kendrick Nunn, undrafted, Duncan Robinson, unheralded, 36 and 34.
And Bam had 30 with a triple-double.
It's crazy.
So now you signed Jimmy Butler, an all-NBA caliber player. You got something special in the Eastern Conference.
And what do you always say about Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Butler goes hard, man. He's a leader.
You say that when you need a bucket, end of the game, shot clock running out, fourth quarter, crunch time. Where's Jimmy? And he proved that. He proved that yesterday. However, I do want to point out, because I watch a game, he missed a game winner.
He did.
He missed like a 15-footer.
He did.
An open 15-footer.
That was a good shot, though.
Yeah, a step back.
It was a good shot.
But it was a open 16-footer, nothing crazy, for the win that we all thought were going down. He thought was going down. He started to celebrate, rimmed out.
But that's what I mean by coaching and player development. You just said it. Even though he missed a shot, what type of shot was it? It was a really good shot.
Oh, yeah, it was a great shot.
You live with it, right?
Of course.
And then you go to overtime, you beat the brakes off the opponent.
It wasn't even close in overtime. Jalen, it is time for some very important, very special news that matters. Jalen, while you were on a plane yesterday, you were trending on Twitter. And be honest with me, it's just me and you talking here. We turn the mics off, the cameras are off. When you get off the plane and you find out you're trending, what's the first thing that goes through your mind?
Do you really want me to be honest?
I really want you to be honest.
You want me to be honest?
Yes.
Do I have a sex tape?
Do you have a sex tape out? Not do you have a sex tape. Do you have a sex tape out?
I'm like, because that's one of the things. It's like, oh, okay. You know, I'm on my Ray J and Kim K. I'm just like, I didn't approve this footage. It's the first thing I was thinking. And then I'm like, okay. So I took a deep breath.
Yeah.
I looked at my phone. I'm like, let me make sure my wife hasn't texted me. Because usually, better have text you. That means it may be something negative.
She texts you, we need to talk, it's over. Don't even go home. Don't even go home.
And then I go to at ESPN to make sure they didn't do an announcement that I didn't know about.
It's been a pleasure working with Mr. Rose. We wish him the best in his future endeavors.
Yes, and then it trickles down to at Get Up, at Jalen and Jacoby, at ESPN.
Okay, so you're good there.
And then I'm like, okay, cool. Take a deep breath. Woosah. And then I have a couple of social media people that work here. Trudy, BK, a couple people that work at Rock Nation. Hitting me up, Shannon, like, yo, Jalen, you're trending. Then I go look at Twitter. And it's Slam Online.
Show them what you were trending for.
And they had a list of people affiliated with the NBA. And they were trying to figure who had the sharpest hairline.
Look at you right in the middle there.
Front and center.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
And here's the thing that I have to be proud of.
What's that?
I'm 25 years older than all of them.
Oh, at least. Like they're all your sons in the hairline game, but they could literally be your sons in the real world.
Like Jordan Clarkson, what is he, 23? How old is Lonzo Ball?
Lonzo Ball, he's got to be 22.
Right. I'm 2 times older than him.
And some. And change. But so to me, it's not even close. Like I say Jason Tatum might be close to close, but he doesn't have the waves and he doesn't have the longevity. He doesn't have the taper that you got. Like,
but I gotta
it's not even close.
But I got to say something really important.
What do you have to say?
And he's going to laugh about me saying this, so I don't mind revealing this. My barber in Connecticut, Andy Authentic. Shout to Hawk in Atlanta. Shout to Shiz in L.A. He was reading the press clippings. He wasn't on point today.
I think it's ridiculous.
He wasn't on point
It's ridiculous.
He
Your
wasn't on point
barber,
today.
Andy Authentic, did not give you a cut today, knowing that you're going to be on TV on multiple television shows talking about your hairline. Everyone's going to be looking at your hairline today. He let you down. He's never let you down before. He let you down.
The only time, though.
He let you down.
This
You know
is the
what?
only time.
I feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for you. I feel bad for him because he's going to be watching Jalen and Jacoby.
He watches.
And he's going to be like, oh, man.
He
Today
watches.
was my day to shine. And to get it. Well, Andy, I think, was the only one that noticed. A lot of people chimed in, but none more important and more just considerate than Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade's got time. You know, he's not on the team right now. Jalen Rose, hands down. The man is 117 years old with an impeccable hairline. And I also want to say this for the detractors. No PEDs. No PEDs. There's no
PEDs.
transplants. There's no spray
glue,
paint. There's
no units.
No Beijing all over the place.
I might as well do it since I ain't get a cut today. I ain't get a cut today.
Yours.
I ain't get a cut today.
Joining us next, right here in studio to break down the big Terrence Crawford fight and much more from the fight game, Teddy Atlas will be here.
The OG Teddy Atlas in the building.
After this. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby from Pier 17, brought to you by Heineken. Whenever you see this man in studio, Teddy Atlas,
legend,
you know
the
there's a big
OG.
fight. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here in the studio, Teddy.
Pleasure to be with both of you.
Yes, indeed.
Big fight this weekend. We'll start with Terrence Crawford, undefeated Terrence Crawford, against an undefeated with a tie. Kavaliauskas, got close. Kavaliauskas?
As close as I'm going to get.
So what can fans that aren't familiar with these two gentlemen expect from this fight?
They can expect either the number 1 fighter or the number 2 fighter, pound for pound in the world, Terrence Crawford, to show why he's the number 1 and number 2. Lomachenko or Crawford, it's your choice.
Yep.
You know, what do you like? You like the ice cream with sprinkles or without sprinkles? You know? I mean, either way, it's good ice cream. And Lomachenko is a top guy. He's technical. He's aggressive. Crawford can do it all. He can box on the outside. He's got a long reach. He knows how to use it. He can tighten up and go inside. Yeah. And he's probably the greatest instinctual fighter I've ever seen. I mean, as far as pure instincts. You know, there was one time I was breaking down his early career, his formative fights, getting to where he got to. And I was doing it for ESPN. We did an hour show. And I'm watching this clip. I think it was against Gamboa, who for a time was a world champion, undefeated. He was a gold medalist also in the Olympics. And I'm watching it, and I see him do something. I say, wait a minute, run that back. I got to see that again. And he turned southpaw and righty, orthodox and southpaw, probably better than anyone I've ever seen. Wow. I mean, Andre Ward did it good. Marvin Hagler did it in spots. He probably shouldn't have done it against Sugar Ray Leonard when he fought him. But, you know, I've never seen anybody fight lefty or righty as well as Crawford can do without losing anything. He's like Mickey Mantle in baseball. I mean, he had power from the left to the right side. He could hit from either side with average, too. And so I'm watching it, and He's in the orthodox position. He counters the guy coming in. He makes him miss a punch. He hits him with left hand underneath. Then he weaves underneath. Then in the same time as he's weaving, he switches to southpaw so he can hit the guy with a right hook. And I was like, I've never seen anyone do something like that.
Wow.
So when I did the piece with him, I asked him, I said, look at this. You know what you're doing? He goes, I had no idea I did that. So I said, you got to be one of the greatest instinctual fighters that I've ever seen. And he is. And when I put that out there so people can comprehend where I'm coming from, that's, to me, he's Jimi Hendrix playing the guitar upside down. You know, he's Bobby Fischer looking at a chessboard and he's seeing moves that I definitely wouldn't see. Maybe you guys would see some of them. I would see checker moves, but here's see moves that nobody else sees. Or Louis Armstrong on the horn hitting notes that nobody ever heard. And that's him. He just creates it. The great ones can do it and create it as they go. Wow. And he has shown me that he can do that.
Teddy, I spent my hard-earned money going to a lot of fights. I pay-per-view and watch all of the fights. Saw Anthony Joshua fight Ruiz. I was disappointed in one of the boxers. Yeah. They were 283 pounds when they got into.
But then, if you can't mount it for yourself, there's no way that you should come in 15 pounds heavier than when you shock the world and you put it off. If anything, 15 pounds lighter. You know, keep the damn thing. You know, don't think so trivially of it that you're gonna just take a payday. And that's what he did. He just took a payday. And look, we've seen it before. He's not the only guy who's gone down that road. Buster Douglas, as great as that night was against Tyson, it wasn't too great against Holyfield in his next fight. Because, again, he came in heavy. He came in weak mentally. Because when you come in that way, you can't be right mentally. You can't. Because you know you could say whatever you want to say. And don't give me the BS. Just go do it and collect your check. But don't tell me you thought you were going to be stronger.
Oh, and they weighed me in at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah. Heaviest sombrero I ever saw. I want to know what was inside that sombrero.
He even mentioned the sombrero when he was talking about how much he weighed.
I mean, come on. You know, again, I'm not trying to be mean, but Big Macs maybe? I mean, what do you?
Bowling ball in there.
Come on.
So, you know, sticking with the heavyweight division, we've got a Wilder Fury fight coming up in February. The last Wilder Fury fight was the opposite of Joshua Ruiz. It was super entertaining. It was close.
Yeah.
What do you expect from this fight in February?
You know, Wilder is. I just made a big statement earlier. I said that Crawford is probably the most instinctual, with an innate ability to be instinctual than any fighter I've ever seen. And for me, that's a big statement, because I won't say it unless I really believe it.
Absolutely. You're a legend.
And Wilder, no, I'm not, but thank you. But Wilder, I mean, I wouldn't put him on Dancing with the Stars. I'll tell you right now, he ain't doing good. But when it comes to that lightning bolt in his right hand, I always say punches are born, they're not made. And he was born with power. He's developed a good delivery system, where he'll blind you with the jab, and then he'll start the jab, bang, and the right hand will be right behind it, where you never see it coming, and you get hit a blind punch. You thought that you had time, you didn't have time. So he's got that right hand, he's got that lightning bolt. He is the hardest one-punch deliverer for one punch I've ever seen in the heavyweight division.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because he said that he hits harder than Mike Tyson.
Listen, Mike Tyson hit, again, you're going to get the truth here, at least what I believe to be the truth. Mm-hmm. And that's all a person can do, is tell what they believe to be the truth. Tyson was the hardest puncher from either side. He could punch as hard with the left hook or the right hand. Wilder, it's all right hand. It's all right hand. But Tyson, either side. And as far as the guy he's fighting, Fury is probably the best technical fighter in the heavyweight division right now, believe it or not. Even being a giant at 6'8", you wouldn't think that. He could go on Dancing with the Stars. He's got pretty good legs.
He does.
He moves his head. He slips punches. He makes believe he's Pernell Whitaker a little bit, or Mayweather. Yeah, Sweet Pea was great. Or Mayweather, making you miss, being a pretty good defensive fighter. So again, it'll be an interesting matchup. At the end of the day, I don't think Fury could fight better than he fought that night. I don't think he could fight better. So I would have to go with Wilder, because he could fight better.
You were talking about pound for pound best in the game. You mentioned Terrence Crawford, but also Lomachenko. What would it take for Lomachenko to become a household name?
Well, he's trying to speak English better, and again, that's important.
That's part of it.
That's part of it, and he's doing a better job at it. So that's one thing. The other thing is the same thing. Listen, I hate to even use this guy's name with any fighters because, he's in a special place, but it makes an example. It gets to the point. Muhammad Ali, he needed a dance partner. He had Joe Frazier. He had Foreman. You got to have that dance partner. You got to have that guy. And right now, even though he's fought in 3 different weight divisions and won titles in all those divisions, he doesn't have that marquee dance partner. He's got to have that. If he's got that, bang, poof. Mm-hmm.
That's a really good point. Teddy Atlas, thank you so much for coming through. We'll be there at the fight. Terrence Crawford, Kavaliauskas this weekend, Madison Square Garden. Everybody tune in. When we come back, we've got more from the NBA. You'll never believe this. The Knicks did not win last night. We'll tell you why and break it down.
I believe it.
This. Tonight on ESPN starting at 7 p.m., the return of Kawhi to Toronto. That's a big game, and it is followed by another one in the nightcap. The streaking Bucks host the Pelicans. That is at 9:30. Both those games on ESPN. And on Saturday on ESPN2, prelims start at 8. Main card, 10 p.m. 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 title fights in the UFC 245. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Want to thank Teddy Atlas for coming through. Excited about the fight this weekend, but there was a good game last night in the National Basketball Association. The Nuggets came to town to play the 76ers. It was the biggest game of the night. It was very intriguing. Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris led the Sixers, who beat the Nuggets. The Sixers have now won 11 of 13, and they have not lost a single game in Philadelphia. Seems like the Sixers are hitting their stride. Would you agree?
I do agree. And first off, Jamal Murray left the game due to an injury.
Yeah, early.
Will Barton got off to a terrific start. But the baffling thing watching this game is how the Joker wasn't aggressive initially. Mm-hmm. And you know what else I figured out while watching this game?
What's that?
I love Jokic.
What?
And here's what I mean. Because
while watching this, I watched this game too, Jalen.
Correct.
Rose.
I'm going to tell you what I mean. Because even though he's been an all-NBA player, even though his productivity is a shade of what it was last year, you know what I appreciate? He's a great teammate. He does dribble handoffs. He still passes the ball first.
That's what you saw?
He doesn't force shots. He wasn't aggressive.
That's what you saw?
He wasn't aggressive.
Oh, no, I saw something completely
passive.
different. Oh, do you know what I saw? Yeah, I saw passive.
In the second quarter, he hadn't even attempted a shot.
He didn't. He had 15 points. He had 9 of them in the third quarter because I'm sure at halftime the coach was like, "Yo, are you here?" Because Jokic was involved, just like he always is, in every single possession. When he's in the game, they set 1 or 2 pick and rolls for him. And if he's involved and he's in the main action in every possession, and you're gonna score 15 points, is this your king? This is your king.
I felt like I was
your king.
I felt like I was him watching the game.
Do you know why I felt like I was him? Because I'm a mentally weak basketball player, and so is Jokic. He was completely disengaged the entire first half. You can tell he got yelled at halftime, scored 9 in the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter was just disappeared.
So when you play against Philly,
it's a close game too.
One of the underrated signings for $100 million. And by the way, as much as this gentleman I'm about to mention loves his family, he loves his community, he loves NBA basketball. Me? He loves Shakira concerts too.
Me?
Al Horford.
Oh yeah.
Does a terrific job of defending. And so that doesn't only fall on Joel Embiid now. And so when you go against a guy like Jokic, they can take turns. And he's guarding Joel, so now Joel could try to go to work on the post. He had his spells in the game, Embiid, had some turnovers, but to me, it was about the balance of the Philadelphia 76ers and Tobias Harris scoring the ball when he had opportunities.
Well, another thing what Horford and Harris allowed them to do is they're going to put Jokic in the pick and roll, and it's a tough cover. You know what I mean? Gary Harris can hit his little floaters and stuff. They just put 3 defenders in there and be like, you know what? If you can kick out to one of those shooters and we can try to close out. I'm not worried about that because a couple times they gave up like just easy shots from both Harris and Jokic.
But the person that's going to unlock the Nuggets to me and possibly take them to another level, they got to see what they have in Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
I know you have so many vets at that position. You have Millsap. who you know what you're going to get on a nightly basis. And I understand that. You want to give Beasley some of those minutes. You want to give Craig some of those minutes. But for me, if they're going to now legitimately be a contending type team, Plumlee playing some minutes at the 5. You have to see if this guy who went in the lottery that you gave a red shirt year can actually play to the potential of what a lot of people felt was the best player in the draft.
That
included Doncic.
Yeah.
And included Trae Young.
Well, here's the thing with him is watching the game, and Greg Anthony actually pointed this out. It's like, box score looked terrible. Box score looked terrible for him, but he was active. He was around the ball. He was doing things that made me say to myself, you know what? Maybe he's not going to be a huge contributor this year, but he's a young man, and if he stays healthy this year, like by next year, he'll be at that kind of like third option, second option level player. Well, Jalen, you know how we pick people that we love? Matisse Thybulle. I love this guy. There was some buzz about him in like summer league and early in the season. What a good defender he was. I love Matisse Thybulle. He kind of went off yesterday, 3 for 4 from 3, 13 points, but it's the defense he plays. He plays such good defense. I love Matisse Thybulle. He's a great pick for them. And when you watch Sixers games, keep your eye on number 22.
He fought through more screens in last night's game that I did in 13 years.
Facts.
Like, I literally watched certain players when they play D. I'm like, he's really hustling.
And he's in passing lanes. You can read people's body language. Like, oh, I'm about to pass there. He's like, nope. He's like, oh, no, I'm not. Reset.
But see, the thing also that becomes a game changer now, and you just showed it on those clips, is one, him making a couple of threes.
Yep, 3 for 4.
And then the other thing, you have somebody that can run with Ben Simmons.
He got a couple dunks from Ben Simmons.
See, people look at Ben Simmons' height and underestimate how fast he runs, and I know that sounds crazy, but now all of a sudden, you have somebody that can get out there in the 3-on-2 breaks, the 2-on-1 breaks, and since Ben Simmons isn't a guy that's going to attempt shots outside of the paint, usually, now to have that other guy running with you, it creates a lane for him to also drive to the basket and score.
Jalen, I don't have the box score in front of me, but I believe Ben Simmons had 7 points in the contest yesterday. That in like over 30 minutes.
He did.
That's not a good game.
No.
You got to score more than that, Ben Simmons. You're an all-star. You're going to be in the all-star game, but like I expect more from you. Moving on, you'll never believe this. The Knicks lost to the Blazers last night. And you'll never believe it. The Knicks lost to the Blazers. But before we talk about how terrible the Knicks are, it was a 10th straight loss. But let's talk about Dame Lillard, 31 points. Carmelo Anthony, 16. His lowest in Portland victory, actually. But Jalen, like, what do they need to do to climb the Western Conference standings? Because right now they're still just 10 and 15.
See, the key for the Portland Trailblazers, one, has been injury. Dame has missed some games. Now he's back.
Jokic.
Balling the way he balled. You just said it. Jokic. That's going to be the key.
People forget how well he was playing right before he got injured.
Correct. And imagine, he and the Joker were on the same team at the same time in Denver.
Well, that's one of the reasons that he got moved is like we got two of the guys that might be a little redundant.
And so Whiteside had a double-double, which is terrific. They lost Rodney Hood for the year due to injury. That's going to be a key loss. So not having Nurkic doesn't necessarily give them the offensive balance that a team desires in the Western Conference that allows you not to just solely focus on CJ, focus on Dame, and even Melo's giving them some offense, but not having that big that you can throw the ball to on the post and run offense through. I think that's the thing that they're missing. But I want to talk about the Knicks for a second.
Okay.
And I wrote down a couple of things watching their game.
What'd you write down?
And this is a problem for Knicks fans.
The Knicks fans have plenty of problems.
No,
right
this
now.
is
Knicks fans have plenty of problems.
This is a real problem.
Okay.
Because I go deeper in the box score. I don't just follow the headline. I don't just follow the hype. I don't just look at who led the team in scoring. I look at a projectile of a team if they're building towards something. And the problem I saw yesterday is Dennis Smith Jr., 5 points, only 14 minutes.
It's crazy. Because remember, he was dealing with some personal issues early in the season. I was like, look, I understand. He's got family stuff going on. Man, it's got to wear on your mind. He'll be back. It'll be fine. Nope.
Kevin Knox, 2 points, only 20 minutes.
I gave up on Kevin Knox like 16 months ago.
RJ Barrett, 5 points in 19 minutes. If you're trying to build something, those are the guys. Traded one for Porzingis, took the other 2 in the lottery. Hey, Mike Miller, who looks 30 years older than the guy I thought it was going to be on the sideline. You got to see what those guys are. I know you want to keep the job.
But everybody that you're playing is on a 1-year deal.
Correct.
So maybe you should develop some of the guys who are going to be there next year.
But this is what happens though when you fired a coach that understood that we want to try to develop these guys. Now you bring in the guy that's like, I'm trying to win.
Mm-hmm.
These guys have low minutes, low production. Where do you build on?
Well, Jalen, we asked what the Blazers need to get better.
Yep.
Well, my guy, Kevin O'Connor from the Podfathers The Ringer, had a report. He said, Kevin Love, preferred trade destination, the Trailblazers. So you start looking at the Trailblazers roster, there's not too much they can put together to get Kevin Love off the Cavs, right?
Kevin Love and Draymond Green are perfect all-star examples of how the league come at you fast. Now, you could be all NBA, you could be playing in the finals when you got the Splash Brothers, when you got LeBron and Kyrie.
Yep.
Don't sleep. When you look at the Cavs in the standings, Kevin Love is on their team.
Oh, he's playing too.
The same guy that was in Minnesota is on their team.
Oh, yeah.
And so I remember talking about this deal years ago. But the problem for the Cavs is, at that time, it was for C.J. McCollum.
Not anymore.
One guy from Ohio, one guy raised in Oregon, try to do that
bring
switch.
everybody home, sure, it'd be great. That's
anymore.
not on the table anymore for Kevin Love.
Not anymore.
And he just signed a new deal.
So now, if you're Portland, you acquire Kevin Love, great. But if you're the Cavs,
I don't see
it don't get you closer to your goals if that is to win it.
A hurt Zach Collins? Is that what I'm taking out of this? I'm going to have Kevin Love.
Yes.
Jalen, we had a 100-point game last night. Someone scored 100 points in college. We'll tell you who that is and how they did it right after this. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose very invested in what we do and don't talk about on this program, so we catered a segment to him. That segment is called Keep It Moving. Jalen, if you want to discuss the topic, you say hit the brakes. If not, me and Method Man jump in the minivan and keep it moving. Are you ready, Mr. Rose?
I'm just fortunate that I work on a program that represents the mighty Wu-Tang. Takal.
Jalen, we had a 100-point individual performance in a college basketball game. Keep it moving and hit the brakes.
I wasn't present. Hit the brakes.
J.J. Culver of the Wayland Baptiste, older brother of Jarrett Culver from the Timberwolves, had 100 points in a single game. 34 of 62 from the field, 12 of 33 from three, 20 for 27 from the line.
That's awesome. That's nasty in a good way.
100.
Because it's almost like the focus and the discipline that goes into continuing to be productive as the game progresses. It's like if I had a test and all of the questions were 2 + 2, I would get like 5 of them wrong.
If there's 100 of them, I'd probably get a few wrong.
Yeah. I'll get 5 of them wrong, right? So to stay locked in like this, and I want to give his teammates a lot of credit.
It's a team effort.
Because they have to set screens for you. They got to get you the ball. They got to root you on. They got to say, hey, you got 70, go for 100. The coaching staff, they got to
set picks for you. They got to work extra hard to get you the ball because that was a team effort.
Correct.
Team effort.
Correct. And these are the type of efforts that, and Howard gives me this for Marquette too, that sometimes we only talk about the players that we feel like are the knockout prospects in collegiate basketball for a national landscape. And we don't give guys like Howard and now Culver enough credit for putting in their work on a nightly basis. But when you put up 100, we're going to talk about you. Congratulations to that young man.
Well, that wasn't the only interesting game in college basketball. We had a big upset last night as well. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
I would say keep it moving for now.
Okay.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
Phillip Rivers was caught on a microphone
Hit the brakes.
talking trash to his opponent. Yannick Ngakwe tried. I think I'm there. We researched it. He was wearing a mic. D lineman for the Jaguars when this happened.
He's going for 90-yard touchdown. 90-yard touchdown.
Hey, 17, you see I ain't talking, right? Stay humble, bro.
You know he's right here.
Stay humble, cuz.
Say 90 yards. I can be excited.
Yeah, but don't do that by my ear. Don't do it by my ear now. Don't do it by my ear.
I will do it. No.
Hey,
That's what I do.
1-7.
That's what I do.
I'll holler at you after the game.
There's so much there.
It is.
There's so much there. Don't do it by my ear. And they said, I will do it by your ear. And he said, I'll holler at you after the game.
You know who I blame for this?
Oh.
Ngakoue. Let me tell you why. He rushes the passer. He knocks him down. He doesn't want to get a flag.
So he helps him up.
Then he helps him up. That was the move that he shouldn't have did.
He walks away.
He wouldn't have helped
Doesn't get
him
screamed
up.
in the ear.
And he walks away. He don't get screamed
One
on.
thing I took away from this that I really love, he knows Phillip Rivers' name, but he calls him 17.
No
Football
question.
players, they don't use each other's names. They just call him by number. You're 1-7. I love that about football players.
Ready for this?
What's that?
Enjoy Phillip Rivers starting for the Chargers. Just like Eli Manning. Because I believe this is the final season for them to do both.
You know who's going to play for the Chargers next year?
Tua.
Cam.
I like that
Remember
better
you
than
heard
the
it
Bears.
first.
I like that better.
Moving on.
That's a David
Antonio
Jacoby
Brown
one.
released a rap song. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes.
You're going to hit the brakes on this?
Yeah.
Antonio Brown put out a rap song. You're hitting the brakes on this, Jalen Rose?
I love Antonio Brown.
Well, him and Sean Kingston have a song out called Bad Decisions. Do you think, what does Antonio Brown know about bad decisions?
Well, hey, it makes sense for me to hit the brakes. I know a lot about them.
Bad decisions. You were trending yesterday. You're like, which bad decision is this one about?
Right, exactly.
I'm moving on. We're moving on. Lamar Jackson opened up about his quadricep injury. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
If he can walk, he's going to play. Keep it moving.
All right, we'll keep moving.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
The Hornets.
Keep it moving.
Oh, what? What about my man Davis Bertans? Devontae
Keep it
Graham?
moving. We keep it moving.
Can't talk about Bertans? I love Bertans. Devontae Graham?
Is Jordan still wearing a single hoop earring?
Yes.
He's still wearing the big jeans?
Tiger Woods is betting on himself. Keep it moving and hit the brakes. You are confusing me today. Well, Tiger Woods will play with Justin Thomas in the first match of the President's Cup that tees off this afternoon, Eastern time. But here's what's interesting. He picked himself for the team on the President's Cup. Soft move or boss move?
First off, that's a boss move. Second, I'm surprised that golfers and boxers don't do what I'm about to say more often.
What's that?
Bet on themselves. It ain't a team sport.
It is.
If I'm about to
It's
go
not-
into a fight and I'm the
Bet on
favorite,
himself figuratively. Figuratively bet on himself.
just think about it. If you're Tiger Woods and you're Wilder, for example, heavyweight champion, and you're going into a fight and you know you're about to beat the dude, why you don't bet the farm on it?
Number one, it's illegal.
Is it to bet on yourself?
Yes. Number
Have
two.
your brother, your cousin, your mother, your family member, your agent,
Jalen,
your manager.
Okay, wait, let me just walk this through for you. If you can bet on yourself, do you know what else you can do? Bet against yourself. That's why it's illegal. Okay, that's why it's illegal, Jalen. You got to think this through. Okay.
Gotcha.
And number two, you're literally in a contract where if you win, you get paid more anyway. So you're kind of betting on yourself anyway just by competing.
It's like Pulp Fiction. You're
Exactly.
right.
Moving on. University of California, Berkeley is offering a very interesting class.
Hit the brakes.
Okay, our producer
They got
Demetrius
they
is
got a
on the
2-point
monitor.
class.
And their class is on adulting. Now, I'll say this. It's a pretty high bar academically to get into UC Berkeley. I would like to think that those people don't need an adulting class. Like, I know some schools that will not be named that could probably use adulting classes, but I don't think UC Berkeley needs adulting classes.
So I need your help, and I know you hate follow-up questions.
Jalen, I hate follow-up questions.
What is adulting?
I love you so much. I love you so much. Because you, more than anyone else in the world, adult so hard, but have so many childish ways.
Correct.
You know what? I love you just the way you are. I'm not even gonna explain what adulting is to you.
So adulting is like acting responsible and disciplined and respectful.
Adulting is for people that weren't millionaires when they were 22 years old. That's what
Gotcha.
people who need to learn how to
Gotcha.
adult.
So-
So you've low-key been adulting for as long as you're doing it. It's basically just like
Gotcha.
pay your bills
I got
and
it.
be responsible and handle what you gotta handle.
So adulting represents what Bob Lee does, and the opposite represents what you do.
No, I'm adulting every day. Kids, job,
Oh, gotcha.
mental health.
Gotcha.
Just taking care of what you have to take care of.
Gotcha.
Bills, all of that.
Gotcha.
That's adulting.
You know when life changes? When all of your bills are in your name. That's when you're an adult. There's so many people walking the face of the earth right now. Like, I'm grown. Yeah, just because you can have some beverages, just because you can get in the club, just because you probably having sex with with somebody, that don't make you an adult.
Jalen.
What makes you an adult is when all of your bills are in your name.
Jalen, you got other people's bills in your name. When we come back, we're going to have to address this Nick Cannon and Eminem thing again. Something new happened. We'll tell you what that is right after this. Tomorrow is the last day you can bid on shoes from Joel Embiid, Paul George, Magic Johnson, and many more athletes, coaches, and celebrities. Bid now at ebay.com/VWeek. All proceeds benefit the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, Kawhi Leonard, and the Clippers going into Toronto to face the Raptors and the Raptors fans. They have a video tribute planned for him. This is not going to be one of those boo situations. Jalen, how much pressure is there for him to play well?
There's not a lot of pressure on him to play well because he's one of the best players in the game. But I want to make sure I acknowledge a distinction. When you're an all-NBA player, you have MVP caliber, and you leave the team. Paul George, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, initially when he left Cleveland, they're going to boo you when you go back.
They're gonna boo you.
Kawhi, they should just retire his number.
They should
tonight.
right now. That's what they should do tonight. That's what they should do if they were about their business. You won't believe this, Jalen.
What's that?
After yesterday, Nick Cannon dropped another Eminem diss track. You know what? When I saw that Nick Cannon had another track, I was like, oh, this is going to be the apology song. You know what I mean? You know what? I lost my mind there for a minute. I'm so sorry. Let me just put this out before you respond.
That was a good one.
But again, he did it with all his boys. They did the whole like posse track thing. Like, what is Nick Cannon's strategy here? What is his strategy?
His strategy, as right now we do this show, the number one trending topic in the United States of America is R.I.P. Nick Cannon.
It's not your hairline?
That's second.
Okay.
It's to keep his name in the discussion,
You know,
in the
if he drops
conversation.
another one, we're not talking about it. Jalen, I want to congratulate you for having the greatest hairline.
Thank you, family.
Whole entire NBA
You got to be
world.
loyal to a barber. Maybe you could get one.
Why you got to take shots at me when I give you a compliment?
You're not loyal to your barbers.
We'll be back tomorrow.